Corey Hayes's fingers wouldn't stop shaking. The pill was tiny, white, harmless looking. It slipped from her fingers and vanished into the amber scotch. Gone. Her breath locked in her chest. Don't look. Don't breathe. Don't throw up. Jiang Jaemin lifted the glass anyway. God. No. Not yet. Not like this. 3 levels underground, wrapped in velvet darkness and money, she stood in front of a man people didn't name unless they wanted silence to follow. Jiang Jaemin. Men died around him for less than a disrespectful glance. And she was supposed to poison him. Her throat closed. Her vision blurred. She didn't want to be here. Didn't want to do this. But the choice had already been made hours ago. Die now, or watch her sister die later. Jaemin raised the glass. Her body moved before her courage could stop it. Oh, she gasped, lunging forward. Her hip hit the table. The glass flew. Scotch exploded across his chest. Dark, expensive, ruined. The pill vanished into the spill. Silence swallowed the room. Music died. Breathing stopped. Jaemin didn't flinch. Didn't blink. He looked at her. Slow. Sharp. Deadly. Then he stood. And in that moment, Corey knew she had just chosen the most dangerous man in the city over the men who owned her debt. Which meant someone was going to kill her. She just didn't know who yet. Hours earlier, Jaemin had arrived for a weapons deal with a Chinese syndicate, his presence alone enough to make grown men glance toward exits they pretended not to need. He was tall in the way men built for violence always were, no wasted movement, no softness. Ink crawled up his forearms like something alive. Beautiful, in the way blades were beautiful. Fear followed him more faithfully than shadow. The deal went smoothly. It always did. The Chinese brought 15 men. Jaemin brought 3. No one commented on the imbalance. After the briefcases were closed, the entertainment arrived. 6 women. Perfect hair. Perfect makeup. Perfect smiles. And then her. She stood behind the others like she wished she could vanish. Silver dress that didn't fit right. Shoulders too loose. Hips too tight. Confidence absent. Her skin was a rich, warm brown under the club's amber light, her natural hair pulled back simply, like she did it herself in a hurry. 5'3" in heels she didn't know how to wear. When the hostess assigned the women, she sent this one to Jaemin with a look that lingered too long. Interesting. The girl approached with her eyes down. Too down. Her pulse jumped in her throat. Her hands shook when she reached for the bottle. May I? She whispered. He nodded once. She poured badly. Sloshed. Nervous. And then there. A flicker of movement. A hand dipping into a clutch. Something small vanishing into his glass. Most men would have missed it. Most men would have died. Jaemin did neither. He let her believe she'd succeeded. Let her believe he was just another powerful idiot distracted by money and women. But he watched her in reflection. Too soft to be an assassin. Too scared to be cruel. She looked like she might cry or vomit or run, maybe all 3. Someone had sent her. She didn't want to be here. Interesting. He lifted the glass slowly. Her breathing stopped. Her eyes went wide. Her hands twisted together. He brought it close enough to smell the scotch. Close enough to catch the chemical beneath it. And then, she moved. Oh, she cried, lunging forward. The glass flew. Liquid soaked his shirt. The booth went silent. Jaemin didn't move. He sat there with scotch dripping down his chest, staring at the girl who had just tried to kill him, then saved him. I'm so sorry, she said, grabbing napkins with shaking hands. I'm clumsy, That won't be necessary. His voice cut through her panic. She froze. For 3 seconds, he only looked at her. Freckles. Barely their makeup. Soft mouth made for smiling in better lives. These were not better lives. I'll get you another drink, she whispered, already backing away. Don't bother. He stood. She flinched. Good. She should be afraid. But not of him. I need to change. Your shirt. I'll get. She ran. He let her. 10 minutes later, Byung-ho returned. She's gone, boss. Service exit. Jaemin felt something unfamiliar in his chest. Not anger. Curiosity. She had been sent to kill him. Instead, she had ruined her mission and saved his life, which meant whoever owned her would not forgive that. He sent one message. Find her. Everything. Then he left. That night, he watched the footage. Her entering. Her being instructed. Her face breaking. Her hand shaking. The pill. The spill. The run. By dawn, he knew her name. Corey Hayes. Debt. Threats. Family who ran. A girl who chose mercy when it would cost her everything. He stared at her photo, laughing, unaware of how close she'd come to dying. And in that moment, Jang Jaemin made a decision. She belonged to him now. She just didn't know it yet. Corey Hayes had not slept in 36 hours. She sat on her couch like it was the only solid thing left in the world, staring at her phone like it might start screaming. Every vibration made her flinch. Every sound in the hallway made her heart slam into her throat. The men who had sent her into that club had been very clear about failure. And she had failed. The debt had started with her sister. Janelle's mess. Janelle's running. Janelle's apology written in a note that didn't stop men from coming to collect. When Janelle and Dwayne vanished in the night, they left Corey behind. The one with the job. The one with the address. The one who could be squeezed. They came 3 weeks ago. 5 men. Smiles that didn't reach their eyes. A leader who called himself Johnson. At first, they were polite. Your sister owes money. Now you owe money. We can work something out. Then they showed her pictures. Men who hadn't paid. Men who didn't walk anymore. Corey tried everything. Second jobs. Tutoring. Selling her car. Moving into a place that smelled like mildew and regret. The debt kept growing. 50 became 70. 70 became 90. Last week, they gave her a choice. One job. One drink. One mistake. Serve a man at a private club. Put something in his glass. Walk away. They didn't tell her what it was. They didn't need to. When she looked up the name, Jang Jaemin, her blood went cold. Even the internet whispered about him. Power. Violence. Things people pretended not to see. She almost refused. Almost. Then Johnson showed her photos. Her walking to work. Her entering her building. Her laughing with Rachel at a cafe. We can reach you. So she went. She wore the dress they gave her. Memorized the lines they fed her. Walked into that club knowing she would either die a murderer or die a failure. But when she looked at him, really looked at him, sitting there in stillness, scrolling his phone like nothing in the world could touch him, she couldn't do it. There was something lonely in him. Something tired. And humans didn't deserve to be poisoned by desperate strangers. So she spilled the drink. Ruined her mission. Ran. Now she waited. A knock hit her door. Corey nearly dropped her phone. Her legs shook as she stood. Her apartment was old and tired and barely standing, like her. 3 locks. A chain. All useless if someone really wanted in. She checked the peephole. Nothing. Her heart pounded. Maybe she imagined it. Corey Hayes. Her breath disappeared. She knew that voice. That won't be necessary. Jang Jaemin was outside her door. Panic took over. How did he find her? Why was he here? Was this how she died? I know you're in there, he said calmly. I can hear you breathing. She pressed a hand over her mouth. I'm not here to hurt you, but we need to talk. And I'd prefer not to do it where your neighbors can hear. She unlocked the door. Immediately regretted every decision of her life. In the harsh hallway light, he was devastatingly handsome. Perfect suit. Perfect control. Face carved sharp enough to cut. But it was his eyes that trapped her, dark, bottomless, knowing. May I come in? He asked. It wasn't a question. He stepped inside like he already owned the space. His gaze swept her life in one glance. Cheap couch, unpaid bills, tiny kitchen, borrowed hope. She backed up until she hit the door. Please don't hurt me, she whispered. I told you, he said. I'm not here to hurt you. Then why are you here? Because you tried to kill me, he said calmly. And then you saved me. She closed her eyes. I didn't want to. They made me. Who? I don't know their real names. Johnson is what he calls himself. My sister owed them money. When she ran, They came for me. How much? Too much. Her voice broke. I can't pay it. It keeps growing. They said one job would cut it in half. I thought I could do it. I thought I could pretend I didn't know what was in that glass. Tears spilled. She didn't stop them. But when I saw you, when I realized you were real, I couldn't. She choked. So I ruined everything. And now they'll kill me. And maybe you will too. Breathe. His voice cut through her panic. She did. I'm not going to kill you, he said. You saved my life. That matters. What do you want? He studied her like a puzzle. I'm giving you a choice. Her heart hammered. Option 1, he said. I erase the men who own your debt. You disappear. You never see them again. You never see me again. That sounds fake. It isn't. But their syndicate will remember you. Someday, they'll come. Cold filled her veins. Option 2. You stay with me. I protect you until this is finished. You mean, with you? Yes. Why? Because anyone who risks themselves to save me is worth protecting. If I choose neither, you die. Simple, clean, true. And if I choose you? He stepped close, too close. Then you become mine to protect. No one touches you. No one uses you. But you'll see my world. And you won't be able to forget it. And after? That will be your choice. She searched his face. I choose you. Something dark and satisfied moved in his eyes. Pack a bag, he said. 10 minutes. In 10 minutes, her life was gone. In a Mercedes that smelled like power and silence, she watched her building disappear. Where are we going? She asked. Somewhere safe. And somehow, against every instinct she had, Corey believed him. The penthouse didn't feel real. Glass walls. City light. Marble and shadow and money arranged like art. Corey stood in the doorway with her threadbare duffel bag, feeling like she'd walked into someone else's life. 3 guest rooms, Jamin said, moving like the space belonged to his bones. Choose one. Kitchens stocked. Security doesn't miss. You have a housekeeper, she said faintly. He glanced back. Did you think I cleaned this myself? She followed him down the hall, sneakers whispering against polished stone. The room he opened was larger than her entire apartment. White sheets. Endless view. Quiet that felt expensive. This okay? It's too much. It's what I have. He set her bag down. You're safe here. She wanted to believe him. Why are you doing this? She asked. Really? He stopped. Looked at her like a truth was choosing its words. Because no one should be punished for having a conscience. Then he left her alone with a bed that felt like a cloud and a life that didn't feel like hers. The days settled into something fragile and strange. Jamin was gone most mornings. Business, he called it. At night, he came back. They talked. She cooked. He listened. He learned her tea. She learned his habits. 5 a.m. Workouts. Black coffee. Silence that meant thinking, not distance. And sometimes she saw it, the darkness under the calm. The calls in Korean that sharpened his voice. The bruised knuckles. The way his men watched him like gravity. On the 8th night, he came home early. There was blood on his shirt. She moved without thinking. You're hurt. It's not mine. What happened? I spoke to the men who owned your debt. Her stomach dropped. What does that mean? It means they won't touch you again. What did you do? What protection looks like? She hugged herself. I didn't want anyone to die because of me. No one died, he said quietly. But they'll remember. The syndicate you mentioned, they'll retaliate. His silence answered. This is who you are, she said. Ruthless and gentle. Violent and careful. I don't understand you. I'm good at surviving, he said. And at protecting what's mine. I'm not yours. Aren't you? He stepped closer. You chose me. I should be afraid of you. You should. Then why do I feel safer with you than I have in months? Because I would burn the city before I let anyone hurt you, his eyes said before his mouth did. You're the only thing I care about protecting, he said aloud. Her breath caught. His hand hovered near her face, asking. She didn't move away. Corey, he said, like her name meant something sacred. She should have stepped back. She didn't. Their first kiss was quiet, careful, heavy with everything unsaid. When they parted, he rested his forehead against hers. This complicates things. Everything was already complicated. For a second, he smiled. Real. Soft. Then the world came back, the blood, the danger, the war he was building toward. Go shower, she said. I'll keep dinner warm. Are you afraid of me? I should be, she said, but I'm more afraid of what might happen because of me. He touched her face like she was breakable. The people I hurt tonight? They've trafficked women for years. They're not victims. She nodded. Okay. I trust you, she added, surprising herself. Dangerous thing to say to a man like me. Probably. The next days were quiet and terrifying. He stayed home more. She worked remotely. They cooked, talked, watched the city breathe beneath glass. He didn't touch her again. But he watched her. Then Byung-ho came. Voices. Korean. Sharp. Jae-min emerged like a storm wearing a man. The syndicate declared war, he said. They're coming for me. For you, she whispered. And me. Yes. Then let me go. No. She understood with a sick clarity. I'm your weakness. Yes. Then hide me. No. He gripped her shoulders. You don't get to sacrifice yourself for me. I can't let people die for me. I know you, he said fiercely. You hum when you cook. You cry at dog commercials. You ruin your own life to save strangers. I'm not letting you go. Why? Because you make me want to be human again. He kissed her like he was memorizing her. When they broke apart, she whispered, What happens now? Now I go to war, he said. And you stay safe. She wanted to argue. She didn't. Promise you'll come back. Always. That night, more men arrived. Guns. Silence. Preparation. She watched the fortress grow around them and felt like she'd started a war by being kind. Stop blaming yourself, he murmured behind her. This was coming anyway. Then why does it feel like my fault? Because you care. He showed her his weapons. His truth. His world. This is who I am, he said. I don't know how to be in your world. You already are, he said. You remind me there's more than survival. She touched his chest. I'm falling for you. His smile was dark and certain. I fell when you spilled that drink. This time, the kiss wasn't gentle. It wasn't careful or reverent or slow. It was relief crashing into fear. It was anger at the world and gratitude for still being alive. It was everything they hadn't said when guns were still warm and blood was still drying. His hands held her like he was afraid she might disappear if he let go. Hers clutched his shirt like it was the only solid thing left. They broke apart only when breathing became impossible, foreheads pressed together, both shaking. I thought I lost you, she whispered. You didn't, he said, rough. Certain. You never will. Later, wrapped in his arms, the world finally went quiet. No alarms. No shouting. No running. Just the steady beat of his heart under her ear. She listened to it like it was proof. Like as long as it kept going, so would they. And for the first time since everything had begun, she let herself believe, just for now, that they might survive. I found your sister, he said quietly. I'm bringing them back. Don't hurt them. I'm giving them a choice. For the first time in years, someone else was carrying what she'd always carried alone. Thank you, she whispered. We still have a war to survive, he said. She held him tighter. Whatever happens, she said, I don't regret us. Good, he murmured. Because I'm not letting you go. Corey was alone when the message came. Jae-min was in the shower. Steam curled under the bathroom door. He was humming, soft, careless, like a man who believed the world had stopped reaching for him. Her phone buzzed. Janelle. Her sister's name looked unreal on the screen. Like a ghost. I'm back. I messed up. I don't have anyone else. Please don't tell him. Just come alone. Corey's chest tightened. Janelle never begged. Never admitted weakness. And she'd already run once, left Corey with the debt, the danger, the mess. But she was still her sister. Corey stared at the bathroom door. At the steam. At the safety. At the man who had burned half the city to protect her. Just a quick meeting. Just to make sure she was okay. She left a note. Went for a walk. Back soon. Security downstairs didn't stop her. Dwayne waited outside a shuttered storefront on a quiet street. He looked worse than she remembered, thinner, hollow, shaking like he couldn't hold himself together. Where is she? Corey asked. Upstairs, he said too fast. She didn't want to be seen. Something in his voice was wrong. They climbed in silence. Her stomach sank with every step. At the door, Dwayne hesitated. They said they just wanted to talk, he muttered. They said if I brought you, they'd clear my debt. Who is they? He opened the door. The room wasn't empty. 4 men sat inside, watching her like a show that had finally started. No Janelle. No sign she'd ever been there. One of the men smiled. That's her. Corey turned to Dwayne. Where is my sister? His face collapsed. They said she was fine. They said they just wanted to scare you. The chairs scraped back. Soft. Controlled. Final. Corey backed up. I'm leaving. The door closed behind her. Not slammed. Not rushed. Just shut. She hadn't been hunted. She had walked straight into it. Because she loved someone who had already abandoned her once. Dwayne panicked. You said you wouldn't hurt her. A crack. A dull thud. Dwayne hit the floor. Hands caught Corey before she could reach him. One man stepped forward, older, expensive suit, eyes like a calculator. I'm the man your boyfriend crossed, he said. Did he tell you what he did to my operations? He was protecting me. He was starting a war. Over you. Shame burned through her. I'm sorry. Sorry doesn't rebuild what he destroyed. He leaned close. And it won't stop what I'm going to do to him. If you're going to kill me, she said, just do it. He laughed. No. You're worth more alive. He'll trade anything to get you back. And when he's broken, then I'll kill you. So he can watch. Horror wrapped around her spine, using her to destroy the man she loved. She loved him. The truth landed hard and undeniable. He won't break, she said. Everyone breaks, the man replied. For the right reason. She was tied, waiting, and furious. She had saved Jamin once. She would try again. The door exploded inward. Jamin stood in the wreckage like something summoned by rage. Blood on his hands. Shirt torn. Eyes burning. Let her go, he said quietly. The man laughed. You're outnumbered. I've faced worse. Jamin's eyes found Corey. Are you hurt? She shook her head. Good. I've destroyed everything you own, Jamin said. Your money. Your men. Your power. Your bluffing. He tossed his phone. The man's face drained of color. Silence. Kill him, the man snapped. Gunfire shattered the room. Jamin moved like violence given form. Fast, brutal, exact. And then it was over. The man who took her knelt on the floor, a gun at his head. Please, he begged. So does she, Jamin said. Jamin, don't, Corey cried. Not for me. He froze. Then lowered the gun. Leave. If I ever see you again, I won't hesitate. The man ran. Jamin cut her free. She collapsed into him. I've got you, he murmured. You're safe. I was scared for you, she cried. I always come back to you. Can we go home? Yes. He carried her into dawn. Back at the penthouse, he handled the aftermath. Your sister and Dwayne are coming tomorrow, he said. They'll work off what they owe you. What if they refuse? Then they deal with me. The war. Over. He took her hand. You're free now. You can leave if you want. Her heart stopped. No, she said. I'm staying. Because I choose you. His voice broke. I've been yours since you spilled that drink. I love you, she said. The smile that crossed his face was unguarded and real. Then the world went quiet. Corey's office window looked out over the city she'd once been afraid of. 6 months ago, L.A. had felt like teeth, sharp corners, dark alleys, danger hiding in daylight. Now it was just home. The bookkeeping firm's name sat in clean lettering on the glass. Inside, the air smelled like coffee and printer ink and ambition. Rachel's laugh carried down the hallway, bright and alive. This life was Corey's. Jae-min had given her resources. A runway. Protection. But the dream? The work? The building of it, brick by brick? That was hers. "You're going to work yourself into exhaustion," he said from the doorway. Corey looked up and smiled. He still moved like a predator. Still carried danger under his skin. But he was quieter now. More human. Says the man who used to work 18-hour days. "I stopped surviving," he said, coming to her. "I started living." He kissed her temple, soft, familiar. "Busy night." She nodded. "Always." His smile held something like pride. Like her success settled in his chest as if it belonged there. In a way, it did. Later, in the house on the estate outside the city, the world was quieter. No sirens. No threats. No glass towers watching. Just trees and sky and the kind of peace that used to feel impossible. Jae-min set dinner on the table, then took her hands like he was anchoring himself. "I want a future," he said. "Not just power. Not just protection." His voice went lower. Steadier. "I want you. Always." Corey's breath caught. She already knew. When he dropped to one knee, the moment didn't feel like a surprise. It felt like a promise finally keeping itself. She cried when she said yes. 6 months later, they married in the garden. Small. Private. Real. No spectacle. Just vows spoken like truth. Jae-min looked at her like she was the only safe place left in the world. Corey looked at him like he was worth every risk she'd ever taken. A year after she tried to poison him, Corey stood in her kitchen, barefoot on warm tile, wearing his ring. Married. Loved. Free. The man who should have died had changed his life for her. The woman who'd been drowning in debt now owned her dream. All because of one spilled drink. One choice. One impossible love. Some stories begin with violence. Theirs ended with peace.